We've already given you the perfect Pro Bowl ballots for the AFC side of things. We're shifting gears to the NFC side today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100.
Joe, happy Friday. That's all I got. No clever segues or one-offs or
this is our last conversation before Christmas. Like Merry Christmas would have worked, right? You know,
Merry Christmas works, yeah, but we're also doing a show on Monday.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I figured that would have been a priority on Christmas to wish you and everybody listening Merry Christmas.
Yeah. That's fair. So we'll have a show for you on Monday. That's a great opportunity to tell everybody there's a show on Monday.
Yeah. I'm excited for this show, though, because we surely ruffled some feathers with our performance with the AFC Pro Bowl ballots, and now we are going to do the exact same thing with the exact same roster breakdown and format, and look at the NFC side of things and make our Pro Bowl selections, which was easier said than done.
It's always a little challenging, but you land on what you like.
They got left off. I'll say,
of course. All right, let's do it.
Oh, we're gonna start with quarterback. We'll do the skill players first. I'm gonna fill in your ballot next to mine for bookkeeping purposes as we go. Maybe we'll compare each other's versus the actual results. That might be fun. A little smack talk opportunity there. My three quarterbacks, I'll volunteer them first. I'll be the first one to throw myself onto the grenade and say that I did not have Matthew Stafford make my cut, as the Rams are coming off of their 30-22 victory over the Saints last night. And Stafford elevating Puka Nacua, right? I saw you had that one-off comment that shots fired at Kenny Golladay on social media. Poor guy. Got him paid, though. You got Kenny Golladay paid. Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and Jared Goff are my three Pro Bowl selections at quarterback in the NFC this season.
I've got Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and Jared Goff. I thought hard about Stafford. I wanted to do it. I was close, but my gut told me Jared Goff, more productive player. He didn't miss a game, right? Which I don't know. I kind of value the availability component of it. I respect what Stafford's done, man. I especially without Kupp for a good portion of the season, and a supporting cast that I think we're generally underwhelmed with. And so I think he's done a great job and very deserving. But I can only pick three, and I went with Prescott, Goff, and Purdy.
Yep, same three as me.
All right, running back. I'll go first here. This was an adventure. Man, if you would have told me before the season I would have picked these guys, I'd have told you were crazy. But these are my choices. Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, you left Christian McCaffrey off then?
No, Christian McCaffrey is the easy one, right?
Okay.
Heard about it. He's having a great year. The next two are not who I expected, but I went with Kyren Williams from the Rams, and I went with Rachaad White from the Buccaneers. Rachaad White, 6th in the NFL in scrimmage yards. 6th, Rachaad White. That's what I went with, man. Thought they were deserving. Thought about David Montgomery. But low-key, Kyren Williams, and this is not even including yesterday or last night, he's second in the NFC in rushing. 953 yards in 10 games, Kyle, with 8 touchdowns, over 5 yards a pop. Got to put some respect on the man.
There is an article that exists or it used to exist when this website still worked.
Yeah.
But there's a tweet that I had that was linked to an article that used to exist that proclaimed once upon a time that Kyren Williams was RB1 in his NFL draft class. And then he ran a 4.7 and everybody forgot that he existed. And now Sean McVay says, hold my beer. This guy's a baller. And he's going to feature him in his offense. And sure enough, Kyren Williams is on my Pro Bowl ballot as too. It's Christian McCaffrey, Williams. I thought he was the easy number 2 selection behind.
Yeah,
Christian
I'm like,
McCaffrey
what?
in the end.
Like once you look into it, you're like, oh yeah, I got to pick Kyren Williams.
I picked Tony Pollard as my third.
Really?
Yeah. So I went with Tony Pollard, as vital of a player as he is to that Dallas offense. Now, I would love for us to not average 5.7 yards per catch, but nevertheless, he has 51 receptions in addition to the workload that he has with 207 carries this season. So he's getting a lot of volume, 258 touches already. He's such an important part of Dallas and, what they do offensively when they're performing at their best. Obviously, he's not reaching the touchdown production that he had last year when he made the Pro Bowl with 12 touchdowns. So I get that. But he also already has 36 more touches in 2 less games this year. So Pollard was my third for that reason.
It's interesting. We've invoked 5 different names here. Between them, my first off was David Montgomery. I picked Rachaad White. You have Tony Pollard. So I mean, that's fun.
Jahmyr Gibbs got a little bit of consideration for me too.
Did he? Okay.
The other Detroit back. Volume's not there. Wide receiver, we get 4. I took CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
I took A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. I took Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I took Puka Nacua. Those were my 4 Pro Bowl selections at the wide receiver position in the NFC.
Those 4 players are the exact same 4 players that I landed on.
Interesting.
Who was hard for you to not pick here? DJ Moore, maybe. Mike Evans with 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. It's the most touchdowns in the conference for receiving touchdowns. I mean, those were the kind of guys I thought about, but.
Yeah, DJ Moore was my first off.
Yeah.
And then obviously you think about guys like Justin Jefferson with what a player like that is. But the unfortunate reality is he spent a bit of the season on an IR with a hamstring injury. And as a result, but he ended up missing like 6 games, right? Because they activated his window. He spent his 4 weeks on, and they had his activation window, and he took the whole 21 days. They took it to like the last day, and then they had a bye week. So it's like 2 months. And just with some of the way that the receivers in this conference are performing, it was just too much for me to put him on, even though like you readily acknowledge that he's probably the best wide receiver or top wide receiver in the league.
We're not picking the best players. We're picking the ones that had the best seasons, right?
Right.
So.
Right.
All right.
Tight end, what you got? Tight end, give me tight end and fullback. We'll just lump them together.
Fullback, Kyle Juszczyk.
Yes.
At tight end, I really think that there's only 3 choices, and I think the right 2 are TJ Hawkinson and Sam Laporta.
Okay.
You got Kittle, don't you?
I'm gonna do something here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Through the skill players on yesterday on the first show that we did, because I guess technically we're running both shows today. Is that the deal?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Friday.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. We had 5 different players with the AFC ballot. Through the skill players in the NFC ballot, we have 1 different player, and it's Rachaad White versus Tony Pollard. Because I have TJ Hawkinson, Sam Laporta, and Kyle Juszczyk as my selections at tight end and at fullback. So obviously Juszczyk with the multi-tool weapon that he is in that San Francisco offense, that speaks for itself. Laporta is on like, I don't want to say record-breaking tight end production, but he is a featured piece of that. He has become, especially the last 2 months, a featured piece of that offense. And there's just not a lot of tight ends where that's factual for, and his receiving background as a former receiver at Iowa really stands out. And then Hawkinson was one of the guys that got so much of the volume and picked up the slack when Justin Jefferson went down. So I got to chalk with you. We're in lockstep effectively through the skill group as far as the NFC.
How about that deal for the Lions? They trade away Hawkinson, get a bunch of stuff, and then just get younger and cheaper at the tight end position with the guy with 9 touchdowns.
Don't have to give the contract out.
It's incredible. That's the reset you dream about, right? Right.
Well
done. Well done, Brad Holmes. All right, that's it for the offensive skill positions, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get to the trenches here in just a moment, so stick with us. But, folks, I got to tell you about DoorDash. DoorDash is incredible. The convenience of DoorDash is unmatched. We're all busy people. We're all looking for some extra time. And what gets a little complicated is figuring out what you're going to make for dinner, figuring out when you're going to get to the grocery store. Well, DoorDash will handle those things for you. They will get you groceries right off the shelf and bring them right to your front door. They'll bring you food from your favorite local restaurants. And it's absolutely incredible. My wife and I, we used DoorDash last night. We got a little E-Noodles. So it's our favorite Chinese restaurant here in town. And you know what? My wife was busy wrapping presents. I was busy watching Thursday Night Football. Neither one of us could get out of the house to go pick it up. Well, DoorDash brought it right to our front door. It's amazing. Check it out. Got a deal here for you. Get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more in your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCK23. Subject to change. Terms apply. Again, that's 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCK23. Subject to change. Terms apply.
Trenches time. Big boys get some love here. Locked on NFL scouting. I don't know. The saying is big uglies, but my offensive tackles are 3 beautifully aesthetic football players out there. Now they play mean, nasty football, but these are some graceful dudes. Because I got Lane Johnson, I got Trent Williams, and I got Penei Sewell. And those are my 3 Pro Bowl tackles in the NFC.
Ooh.
Who'd I miss?
No, I it's the better question might be who did I miss? Because I didn't have Lane Johnson, and that feels wrong to me. That feels really wrong to me. Here's who I do have. Yeah, here's who I do have. I have Trent Williams.
Okay,
you had Penei Sewell, right? You had Penei Sewell.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so those 2. But instead of Lane Johnson, I have a very deserving player, Tyron Smith, who's having a friggin' amazing year. But I didn't even think about Lane Johnson. That's kind of crazy to me. Tyron Smith, one of only 2 tackles in the NFC to not give up a sack this year. Lane Johnson's given up 6 of them. Or no, 3.
I was going to say, no way 6. Because I believe he gave up his first sack in like a really long time to Jalen Phillips on the Sunday night game. I remember that being a big deal that he gave up a sack in the first place.
Yeah, he's given up 3 this year. According to Pro Football Focus, against Dallas, Kansas City, and 2 against Dallas and 1 against Kansas City. So I don't know. They didn't charge that one to him. Not sure what happened there, but I'm going Tyron Smith.
Right inside shoulder and bring the quarterback to the ground. Okay.
See.
How about? I do think there's some wiggle room for variance at guard. I'd love to know who you have at guard. I think center's probably chalk, but I want to know who you got at guard.
Yeah. Guard, I have Chris Lindstrom from the Falcons, Kevin Dotson from the Rams, and Tyler Smith from the Cowboys.
Okay. So we have some different names here.
Okay.
I have Chris Lindstrom.
Okay.
Also from the Atlanta Falcons. I put Zach Martin from the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
The other Cowboys guard. I have Tevin Jenkins from the Bears. That's my 3rd choice.
All right. Going into the well there.
Dotson's a fun one to invoke because he got traded for like a bag of nuts, right?
Yeah.
From Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They couldn't get rid of him fast enough. He always felt like he was perpetually in the doghouse in Pittsburgh. And he gets traded to the Rams amidst their bid to kind of overhaul that unit with how much of a disaster it was in 2022 for them. They were on like, who did you give the laundry list of? Was it the Jets offensive line? Like how many they played like 8 right guards this year, something like that.
Yes, insane amount of right guards. Yeah, I think it was 8.
That was the Rams last year.
Yeah.
So for them to acquire Dotson in the way that they did, and he has played well, he was on my short list, is very, very cool. And I think it's very, very deserving. And I think he did a nice job shouting him out there.
Sam Cosmi was another player I thought about for the Commanders. Wonderful transition for him to play guard. And I mean, I didn't pick him, obviously, but I want to give him a little love here.
So Tyler Smith, Dallas, and then Kevin Dotson.
Yep. Centers are going to be real easy. Frank Ragnow, Jason Kelsey.
Yep, we can move on with our lives. Done. Best two centers in the NFC, and they continue to be, and they have been for like 5 years. So,
yeah, that was about the easiest thing I did was put those two names down.
Wheel in the Sky Keeps on Turning. Who sang that song?
I don't know.
The wheel in the sky keeps on turning. No,
bro, no chance. No chance. I'm going to come up with this. No chance.
Song before 1980 and not a, or 1990 and not a country song. So
yeah, no chance.
I'm going to float around, produce this thing, and figure out who sings this song. Journey, "Wheel in the Sky" by Journey.
All right.
Do you even know the song that I just sung?
Probably not, dude. Oh, probably not.
We'll play it off air because we don't want to get hit with any copyright infringements. And you let me know if you ever heard the song, but I would be devastated if you did. Edge group or all six defensive end pass rushers.
Okay, so I actually have 3 off-ball linebackers. So I have 5 edge players and 3 off-ball linebackers.
Okay, that's kind of fun. That's a fun twist on this. You made it more complicated than it has to be, but I respect it. So why don't you give me your edge guys and then your one off-ball linebacker?
Well, I have 3 off-ball linebackers. So this is what I have. Defensive end, Nick Bosa, 49ers. Defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, Lions. Defensive end, Montez Sweat, Bears. And then edge rusher, Micah Parsons, Cowboys. Edge rusher, Danielle Hunter, Vikings. And then my linebacker / edge player, it's outside linebacker. I have Bobby Okereke from the Giants. And then my 2 actual linebackers are Fred Warner and Demario Davis. Was that confusing enough for you?
Yeah, that's not at all. So Nick Bosa, Montez Sweat, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep. Micah Parsons, Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, and then Bobby Okereke. And then you had Fred Warner and Demario Davis.
Yep.
Okay. I have 6 pass rushers for my defensive end and then my outside linebacker. I just said I'm going to take all the pass rushers. I think there's plenty that are deserving because I have Danielle Hunter, and I have Micah Parsons, and I have Nick Bosa. Okay, so we're common there.
Okay.
I also have Montez Sweat, so we're common there. My other 2 went to Rashawn Gary of the Green Bay Packers and Hassan Reddick of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. Good choices. I mean, there's a ton of players that, to me, make a lot of sense within this. I mean, even DeMarcus Lawrence, I don't think we mentioned.
Right.
That's probably actually about it. That would actually deserve it. Maybe Josh Sweat.
And then also Granderson from the Saints was on my short
Having
list
a nice
too.
year. Yeah. Good call out there.
And then just for bookkeeping purposes, my 2 inside linebackers are Fred Warner and Demario Davis as well. That was just as easy as center.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Those are the dudes at linebacker in the NFC.
So we still have interior defensive linemen.
Yep.
Let's tuck them in here, and then we'll get to the back 7 and go from there. My 3 were Dexter Lawrence, New York Giants, Leonard Williams, New York Giants / Seattle Seahawks. And then I had Kenny Clark, the Green Bay Packers.
All right. Aaron Donald hater, Kyle Crabbs. Dexter Lawrence from the Giants. Yes. Aaron Donald from the Rams. Okay. And then I have Javon Hargrave of the 49ers. And I debated between Hargrave and Leonard Williams. Hard. I can only pick one, and I went with Hargrave.
Are you really going to guilt trip me about Aaron Donald right now?
I'm not.
My guy, it's the same thing as Justin Jefferson. Has he had a better season? Has he had a better season? We're not grading the best players. We're saying, have they had a better season
than Leonard Williams? Yeah, I think he has had a better season than Leonard Williams.
Okay.
I think you might be able to say he's had a better season than Dexter Lawrence.
No.
It's close for me.
All right.
It's close.
We'll agree to disagree. I will be the avid Aaron Donald hater if I need to be. So that's fine.
All right. That's your new spot. That's your new guy. Great. All right. The secondary is specialist. Don't miss the long snapper decision that we have to make here in just a moment. Stick with us. But folks, you got to check out Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the most fun, easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. I love the format. It's incredible. It's just you against the numbers. It's not you against thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. Here's what you do. You select 2 or more players. You pick more or less in their projected stats, and you place your entry. That's it. It doesn't take long. Picks can be made in under a minute. And then when you win, the withdrawals are super, super quick. Love all these sports that are on TV right now. And I love that with Prize Picks, you can cross-pollinate between the sports. So if there's some projected stats that you like for a football game or basketball, hockey, you can splice them all together and develop the entry that you love. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
We are on to the secondary.
Corners.
Would you like to start?
Yeah, I'll give you my corners. There's 4 of them. I have Deron Bland of the Cowboys and his 10,000 different pick sixes he has this year. I have Jalen Johnson of the Bears. Have a great season. Javarius Ward of the 49ers. And Devin Witherspoon of the Seahawks. It might be my only rookie I have.
I got a few. No, Puka Nacua.
Oh, Puka, that's a good call. Yep.
Okay, so that's fun. So you said Javarius Ward was your third?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure these are in any order. I'm just giving you the names that I...
No, I mean, just I had the other 2 names, and then I say that because I had Deron Bland, Jalen Johnson, and Devin Witherspoon as well, so it was easy to copy and paste those names.
Gotcha.
The one I had to write in was Javarius Ward.
All right, so who'd you go with?
In his place, I had a player who has played well this season, is really the only accomplished player in the secondary. And this defense is overperforming versus our expectations. Do you know who it is?
You lost me on the last sentence. I thought I had it, and then I lost it.
Who did you think that it was?
You said the defense is overperforming based on our expectations, which immediately took away Kendall Fuller from the conversation.
It's not Kendall Fuller.
Right. So this is a player on a team where they're devoid of talent and playing better than you anticipated.
Specifically in the secondary. Or I guess at corner. We talked all summer long about how this position was going to be a problem for this team, and they weren't going to be able to play effective defense because of it.
Oh, it's got to be the Vikings then. Some player on the Vikings.
It's Byron Murphy.
Okay. All right. Good call out. I respect it.
He's had a nice year. He's got a couple picks. He has moved around a little bit. That secondary, they play some really extreme stuff, be it drop 8 or 0 and living on islands, and that's a hard job. And for Byron Murphy to perform the way that he has for Brian Flores this season was somebody I thought was worth a shout.
Respect it.
Safeties, we get 3. Did you do the 1 free safety and 2 strong safeties, or how did you divide them up?
3 safeties. Just pick 3 of them.
Just lived your life and moved on. Who are your 3 safeties, Joe?
Well, I thought 2 were real obvious. Antoine Winfield of the Bucs, Jesse Bates of the Falcons. Those were the easiest names to put down. And then from there, I debated between a ton of different players before settling on Xavier McKinney from the Giants. I've watched a lot of the Giants this year. I feel like he's an impact playmaker that fills so many different roles for them. And I thought about Julian Love, but I thought that was kind of a recency bias based on what he did Monday night. Thought about Cam Curl from Washington. I just felt like the guy that I kept coming back to was Xavier McKinney from the Giants.
Okay. No consideration to the guy I actually picked as my third, because I also had Jesse Bates. I thought that was a slam dunk. And I also had Antoine Winfield. I thought that was a slam dunk. So you settled on Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
Of the
Josh Metellus. Josh Metellus is another player I thought about. So if that's your guy, then I thought about him.
It's still not. It's Tyrann Mathieu.
All right. Honey Badger.
Honey Badger. A little long in the tooth, this Honey Badger, but nevertheless, he's got 3 picks. Say what you will about the Saints and their defense, and obviously they just gave up 30 points last night, but they've been a respectable scoring defense, and he's only missed a handful of tackles. It's like a 6% missed tackle rate. He's got a passer rating allowed under 70 this season. So just as I kind of did the legwork there and trying to determine, that third spot, I went with an oldie but a goodie and settled on Ty Matthew was my last one.
Hufanga probably would have been a shoe-in if he didn't get hurt.
If he was not hurt, yes.
Yeah. All right, now the reason everyone's
now
here.
we get the real stuff.
Yeah,
rubber's going to meet the road here. I thought there was only one answer at kicker.
You're damn right. Let's just hope you got the
Brandon
right one.
Aubrey.
30 for 30, man. To start his career.
He's out of his mind.
His story's incredible, right?
Mind.
He was like, he never even played football. He was watching a game. He saw a missed field goal. His girlfriend says, "You could do that," and then he did. He just started kicking a couple years in the USFL. And then he's the answer for the Cowboys. Remember, their season got off the rails because of the kicker last year. Couldn't make extra points. I mean, he just got the yips.
Right.
This guy's been unbelievable.
30 for 30 to start his career. He's been awesome. And he hits bombs, too. He's in 58, 60-yard kicks.
He's 7 for 7, I'm pretty sure, from beyond 50.
That sounds right.
Check. He has not missed from beyond 50. What is, I don't know. 8 of 8. He's 8 of 8 from beyond 50. He hit 2 from beyond 59 in the same game.
And that win over Philly had 3 beyond 50 total.
Yeah.
It's a shame he missed 3 extra points, though,
Right. We don't have to talk about it. Don't have to talk about it.
I kept my specialist in Dallas for the punter as well. I had Brian Anger down.
Same.
I think he's top NFC net yards per punter, I believe.
He is. He's also number 1 in EPA per punt in the NFC. So I think he was the right choice there. Which means the right choice for snapper.
I did Andrew DePaula, who got it last year in Minnesota. But
yeah, that's your process. That's fine. I'm giving it to Trent Sieg of the Cowboys because I like I said, if you had the best punter, the best kicker, and this is his first year with the team, he was with Vegas for a bunch of years, and if they had Carlson with Carlson and who's their punter, Cole, that's the best punter kicker in the NFC situation. So pretty impressed with this guy. He's getting it done here as a long snapper.
Did you keep all your specialists in Dallas? I have Kevontae Turpin as the return guy that I have down.
I don't have Kevontae Turpin. My return guy.
Go ahead.
My return guy is Rashid Shaheed. Of the Saints.
Good, well-worthy player.
Yeah, I like Turpin as well.
Super explosive. So then who do you have your special teamer?
Ben Skowronek of the Rams. 11 or 13 special teams tackles, leads the NFC. That's why I picked him.
That is also who I have, and it warms my heart that this is the recognition that he's getting. Do you remember what the narrative was about Ben Skowronek this time last year?
Well, he wound up having to play a lot of football for the Rams last year.
Right. A lot of offensive football.
Right.
He's like, I
Allen
can't
Robinson
believe
was
everybody
amazing.
missed on this guy. The next step in the evolution of football, Ben Skoranek. So he's just a blue-collared, big-bodied, physical guy, guys. And the Rams played him at
fourth or
fullback out
fifth
of
receiver.
necessity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the Taysom Hill thing, right? Taysom Hill carves out a very unique role, and it becomes over-dramatized about, like, the implications. But then as time goes on, you kind of see, oh, okay, like, the team has a chance to get better players, and that player falls into the perfect niche role within their roster as compared to being a featured player. And they were featured because they had to be, because they didn't have anybody else. But I think it's very cool that Skoranek has pivoted off of, I'm a wide receiver fullback hybrid, so you don't know if we're in 21 or 11 personnel. And that has settled into a killer special teams role that I think he's going to own for like a very, very long time and be like a core. But he could be like a Mac Hollins type player, right? That'd
be perfect. Yeah.
Yep. And as time goes on, he will probably find himself more involved in the offense in traditional wide receiver type ways.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened with Mac Hollins.
I have 9 Cowboys, 8 49ers, and 6 Lions is my top 3 teams in terms of representation here.
I have 9 Cowboys. You said Lions was 6?
6.
I have 5 Lions, and then San Francisco, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 San Francisco 49ers.
I think you have
the
Eagles are going to be the big one. You had more Eagles than me. You had Hassan Reddick and Lane Johnson.
1, 2, 3, 4 Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I only had 2. I only had 2 of them. So
this is fun.
Panthers, Packers, Commanders, and Cardinals.
The Rams got some good representation from us.
5. They got 5 on my team. The Rams.
Yeah. By the way, low key, we talked about the Rams a lot this summer, just as a, I guess, closing thought with the Thursday night game last night. We kind of struggled with like where that roster was at and reconciling like how competitive we think that they can be. And I think where we ultimately settled was when we added the coaching staff layer between Raheem Morris and Sean McVay, we came away saying, hey, they might be towards the bottom of the middle of the pack from a talent perspective, but when you've put in the coaching, they're an upper half of the league team. And now, lo and behold, this team's sitting here with 2 games to play. They're 8-7. They're in a position to close this thing out and get a playoff berth and be a team that probably not a lot of people are going to want to play.
They've gotten some production that I don't think anybody could have anticipated. Kevin Dotson, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Quentin Lake, Kobe Turner, Michael Hecht. Or Hoyt. I don't know how to say his name. Like some of these dudes, like, just wound up being things for them. So credit to their coaching, man, and turning, like modest investments into meaningful players for them. So good on them.
So, and here's where things stand for the Rams. They have 2 games left to play. They play the Giants, and then they play the 49ers. So you take care of business against the Giants, you're going to feel like you're in pretty good shape because the 7 seed, you have the Minnesota Vikings. And the Vikings are 7-7. They are playing Detroit twice in the final 3 games. Did they play each other? No. So there's no head-to-head. So from strength of schedule perspective, LA's already got a win ahead of them. Minnesota goes Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit to close. The 8th seed is Seattle, who the Rams swept. And then the 9th seed is the 7 and 8 Saints, who the Rams just beat and have a head-to-head tiebreaker against. The 10th place team is 6 and 8 Atlanta Falcons. So the Rams looking like really good shape. I don't know the specifics, but I would not be surprised if they have some clinching scenarios next week when they play the Giants.
So Matthew Stafford.
Sean
McVay.
Couldn't get our Pro Bowl vote, though.
Right.
When he
start and end with it. Don't it's funny. Come circle.
That's going to do it for us on Locked On NFL Scouting. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He's Joe Marino. You can find us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We appreciate you guys checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We outie. See ya.